What's up, everybody? Back with some goodies to start the new year. So for the longest time, this car has run a factory OEM TH100 case. I've now upgraded to the FTI Reed style case, and so with that, it basically is it's like a Reed style FTI case, aftermarket case. With that, what changes is now you do my billet bell housing, and that replaces the OEM belt housing that I had on the OEM TH400. Everything else stays the same. The rear plate and everything in the rear stays the same. And so yeah, so this is a big upgrade, something I've been wanting to do for a really long time. And the internals, this is still a FTI level 5 TH400, has all the billet internal goodies. Still running FTI converter. So pretty much everything is still the same. This is the factory gear set, 1 through 3, factory ratios. And let me bring you around to this other side. You can check it out. Let's see, let me turn the light there so you can see all the goodness. We did plumb the insides of this for an internal dump valve as well as an external dump valve. Because again, I'm trying to get this car to leave on without nitrous is what I've been working with, is trying to get it to get on the chip without nitrous. So as you can see, we have external plumbed here and return setup for it. It's also got an internal dump valve plumbed for it, but I'm not using the internal. I'm gonna try it just with the external first and go from there. So this is a more rigid setup. This is pretty much what all my customers are running. That anyone making 1,000 and up, I'm going to be directing you to aftermarket style case. Being that this is a transaxle TH400 setup, the tail housing is everything, right? All the rigidity and the strength back here is super important. And so when you have these big bosses that the bolts run through and the billet adapters, it's really helpful to have an aftermarket case. So pretty neat setup. While I have everything out, just wanted you guys to take a look up in here so you can see this is pretty much what I clearance out whenever I install one of these. It's not much, so there's no major cutting done. There's just a small notch right here, small notch here, and then on this side another. I don't know if you can see that, just another small tiny notch. And that's pretty much it. I have drag brakes, so I don't have an emergency cable, so that helps create some room. But that's it. Nothing else is cut. Back in the old days with C5 setups, I know you have to cut all this, and it's a mess. You have to do a lot of welding, but not on this setup. Of course, it uses the C6 differential setup. So yeah, so this is the major upgrade. So get ready to put this in. So I'll be back. And also, while I have this out, I redid my fuel system. Just redid all the lines. So still got my 750 right here, have an internal 535 here, and they are basically wide, dash 10s wide into a dash 12 going all the way up to the front, and dash 10s going to the back of the rail. I don't have the car down right now, but I will make another video or attach it to this video at the end so I can show you guys all of that. So here we go. All right, we're back from a long dyno session. Ran into a couple of little bugs as usual, but everything worked out really great. Shout out to Derek over at Jekyll and High Performance for helping me get this thing tuned. It's still on the factory computer, so we just really needed to make a lot of fueling adjustments. The car has always teetered on the lean side of things, mainly because I didn't have the fuel lines. I didn't have the proper fuel line set up. It was an old style fuel system that had been in the car for a while, and so I went through and just completely redid everything after this last track outing, and the car responded really well. At the end of the video, I'll have all the dyno runs just back to back so you can check it out. So main thing that was different this go around was the transmission. New transmission is inside, FTI level 5, 2,000 horsepower, aftermarket case, recase transmission, and then the fuel system. So going back to what the original setup was in this car, or what it had been for many years, was it had a in-tank, for many years it had like a 450, Walbro 450, then it had an external 750, a Magna Fuel 4303, and then it went up to the front, and then I have like my BTR rails here for a regulator, and that's pretty much what ran the system. The issue was mainly after putting in this auto is the car, it wants more fuel. It's making a lot more power than it did when it had the stick in it. And the way that was set up previously is it was basically, I want to say it was a -6 coming from the in-tank pump, and then I think it was a -8 going to a single -8 up, and then it split to two -8s at the rails. Dumb, I know, for this type of power level, but it ran a 7 like that, but it just did it probably on the ragged edge. Honestly, it was the AFRs were too lean, even on that pass. And so now what I have done is I have an in-tank 535, Magna Fuel 4303. It's both going from 2-10s to a -12 up to a Y right here, and then that goes to 2-10s back of the rails, and then -8 return back to the tank, and that got the job done. Up front is also Injector Dynamics ID 2000s, and so that got the job done. That worked. Super happy about that. Have some stuff to tidy up because we had a bunch of stuff apart, going through things, so don't judge me. And it also was a pretty dusty ride back home, but everything worked good. The car really wanted a lot of fueling, and needed some tweaks, and so I'm able to get I also added a dump valve, an external dump that is controlled off of my trans brake. And so that's helping me light the turbo really fast now. I think I saw 10 pounds in 3 seconds yesterday, or like 3.5 seconds, which is amazing. So going to be trying that out this weekend at the track. Hopefully I can get some more 7s under my belt, maybe even crack a 4 in the 8th, with no nitrous to spool, no nitrous at all, just all boost, which is have been my goal this whole time. So super excited about that. Everything worked really well. The car, when it made over 1,300, at the very tip, like 7,500, it's been the car to 8,500, right around like 7,500, it had a slight little breakup, and you can see it in the graph. There's a small little divot, and that was basically, the car needed more fuel. I overshot it on duty cycle. Duty cycle's weird, right? Sometimes you can add 2 or 3%, and it won't do anything. Sometimes you can add 2 or 3% and it'll jump freaking 3 or 4 pounds. And so it just got into a weird sensitivity range where the turbo was super efficient. And the previous run was on 27 pounds when it made 1,200. So actually, let me back up. We did a baseline. It made like 870. That was about 15 pounds, 14 pounds. Turned it up from there to 22, 23 pounds, and made like 11 and some change. And then 26 pounds, about 26, 27 pounds, somewhere in there. That's when it starts making 1,240, 1,230, in that range. Then I wanted to make like 29 pounds or 28 pounds. I just wanted it to go up like a couple pounds. I just wanted to hit 1,300, but I accidentally gave it a little bit too much, and it made 30 pounds, like 30.5, and then it made 1,300 and what was it, 1345 or something like that, and it was on its way to like 1380 had it not been for that slight breakup, just due to, like I said, due to the fueling. We ended up adding more fuel to it, and it was happy. The next run, I just pulled the boost back a little bit, and so we got it dialed in perfect. So really happy about that. That was a personal best for the car. And, the car will be nice and fat going down the track in the big end. So I'm super excited to see how well it does. So thanks for tuning in. Like on all the platforms, the same name, the Bully C506. If you have any questions about TH400 setups, There's a lot of them out there now. C6s, C5s, really trying to push this along, trying to, just trying to keep the platform going, just trying to make it more fun to drag race these cars. They're really good cars to drag race. They're really competitive. And so if you have any questions, inquiries about how to integrate your setup with a TH400, just give me a holler. And, I try to utilize as much as you guys, you customers, setups as possible. So if you have things that we can make work with the swap, I'm definitely all ears for listening to it. And of course, if there's some things that are going to make it work better, that I can provide, I'll be happy to provide those items for you. But, just give me a shout if you have any questions about TH400 setups, and enjoy the dyno clips. Stay tuned for some quarter mile passes.